Text 3 has the question, evaluate if the poet leads readers to this message in an effective way. And it's taken an excerpt from the end of the poem. The beauty on earth is widespread. Learn to respect it and it'll embrace you instead. So I think what is a really good idea when you read a text in the reading paper is just read and say, what's it actually about? And so with this poem, there are lots of lovely uses of imagery, and we've got these verbs here. So the persona of the poem, the person talking to the reader, is telling them to cherish the earth and embrace its beauty and treasure the grace, all that. And by the time you get to the end, it's saying that the earth is so beautiful. If you respect it, it will give back to you. And earth has been personified here as almost as a living being. So the voice, the persona of the poem, is all-knowing, omniscient, and the poem is imparting this wisdom that if you look after the earth, it will look after you, it will nurture you. Okay, and so there is a really hopeful and celebratory tone, and I think that the idea is the purpose of the poem is to inspire readers to cherish the natural beauty of our planet, and that fits in with the sort of theme that's been developed in the paper, in this climate change type thing. So I think it's saying if you nurture the earth, it will nurture you in return. So it's a mutually sort of beneficial activity. So we have to deal with this part of the question first. We have to say, what's the message of the poem? And you'll notice that, of course, this is the end of the poem, and quite often you'll find, particularly in that final couplet, that's where the real message is. And we've got to evaluate and say, does the poet lead readers to agree with this point of view? And so we actually have to analyse and make these evaluations. How successful is the poet in presenting this message that we should embrace the earth so that it embraces us back? So let's have a look at the response. It's worth 4 marks. So as a general rule, we're looking for one sentence to answer the question and set up your premise, and then you're going to have 3 pieces of evidence, 3 pieces of analysis that will support that. Okay, the third, planet successfully inspires readers to cherish the natural beauty of our planet. Okay, so evaluate. I'm saying, well, it successfully inspires them to do this. Tactile imagery such as feel the lush valleys showcases the impact of our environment on the individual and is reinforced through verbs such as know that they're all yours, revealing the pleasure gained through embracing nature. The celebratory tone invites readers to respect Earth, and by personifying it, it'll embrace you instead. The poet imparts the nurturing qualities of our world when we open ourselves to it. So here I'm returning to that main idea. And you'll notice through there I've used tactile imagery as one. I've then talked about the verbs that are used, and rather than just putting the verbs and listing single words, I've used one of them, know, and I've included the whole line, and then I've addressed what that message is in that whole line. It's much more effective than saying the verbs and putting 3 verbs in there and doing nothing with them. So that's the second thing I used. I talked about the tone and what it did, and I also talked about how the earth was personified. So I've actually used 4 features of the poetic form to support that, and so that's showing the marker I've got a clear understanding of how the text works.